Hello, welcome back to the channel. In this video we are basically trying to start where we're supposed to start with algebra, but then we just started in the middle. I don't know those tendencies where they come from, but yeah, we are here at the beginning where we're supposed to be. So we are required to do algebra at some point with this math subject. With regards to algebra, that's basically just that question 1 of paper 1 where you're required to solve for x. That's the main thing you're doing there. Besides that, seems like there's nothing more. So with regards to solving for x, there's a couple of methods that you can apply. First one being factorizing. Okay, usually this is the easiest method that you can apply, and it is quicker as well. So suppose you have this example of x squared minus 3x equals to 4, and you're required to solve for x here. If you were to apply this simplest method of factorizing, and remember also, when it comes to question 1 of that paper 1 of mathematics, they usually don't ask you to select a certain method to solve the problem. They just ask you to solve for x. As long as you can solve for x, you are fine. Okay, so here we are going to try to do this by factorizing. The first thing we need to do is to just move this 4 from the right to the left. And then, okay, not what I'm doing. Then we have that. When it's like this, now we just need to find the factors. To find the factors, let's not stress ourselves. We are allowed to use a calculator. So use a quadratic formula to get the factors. This is the quadratic formula in case you are not that aware at this point. Okay, divide by 2a. How you apply the quadratic formula, it comes from the standard form which we have in this case, and in the standard form this is what is happening: ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So as you can see, if I can just move this to here, you can see that this is 1, which is the coefficient of x squared, that is actually a. The coefficient of x is actually what b is, and then the last term is what c is. Okay, so that's basically how you're going to now just substitute into this quadratic formula. By that I mean a equals to 1, b equals to -3, and c equals to -4. Then you substitute all those things into this formula, and then you will get that x is actually equal to which value? X equals to, when you put a positive or a negative, firstly you need to put a positive, then secondly you can put a negative in the very same formula. I think if my technology was that advanced, I would be showing you how to do this thing on the calculator, but at the moment I just have to assume you are okay. If you're not okay, you let me know, then we will find ways to make it okay on your side as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly move this thing back to where it came from, and then okay, not necessarily where it came from, but yeah, put it there, and then we do the substitution. You'll get that your x is actually this x squared. You'll get that your x is actually equal to what? -1 and +4. So when you write this thing as factors, you're gonna, for that -1 you put +1, for the +4 you put x minus 4. Okay, then that will therefore mean that for this whole product to be equal to 0, it means that x plus 1 is actually equals to 0, or x minus 4 equals to 0. Therefore x equals to 4, or x equals to -1. Okay, that's how you solve for this. And with question 1, solve for x, you can always know if your answers are correct or not. Just substitute these values, -1 here and -1 there, and then see if you're getting 4. And then after that, try to substitute +4 and +4 here, and see if when you punch that on the calculator you actually get +4. If both answers they give you 4, then you know that now you can start bragging and acting as if you are the master of maths when you leave the exam hall. But other than that, chances are something is wrong in your working. Okay, suppose now you have another example like this: x squared minus 3x is equals to 0. How do you do this one? This one, you can see we have x squared and we have x, but we don't have the constant, which is the value of c. That means c is 0. So you can still just substitute this whole situation into the quadratic formula to get the factors. That would mean your a is equals to 1 in this case, and then your b is actually -3, and your c is equals to 0. Then you substitute all that into that equation. You'll get that x equals to 0. That means the factor is just x minus 0, which is just x. And then you also get that x equals to +3, which therefore means the factor is like x minus 3. Okay, everything is equals to 0. And then for this product to be equal to 0, it's therefore a case of either the x equals to 0 or x minus 3 equals to 0. Okay, therefore x equals to 3. These will be your answers. Now you just need to check with your answers if all of them they are valid for this equation. Substitute 0 squared minus 3 times 0, you get 0. Substitute 3 squared minus 3 times 3, you get 0. So all these answers are actually valid. So there's no need for you to say one is not a valid solution. Okay, and let's look at the last one where we are doing a problem using factorizing. Okay, x squared equals to 4. Suppose you have a situation like this. First thing you do, always try to have a 0 on the right hand side. That means x squared minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, now in this case we need to also try to find the factors. 4 is a perfect square. Over time you'll realize that the factors for all the perfect squares, they are easy to know. But if you are not aware of that at this point, just know that your a is still going to be 1. This is the coefficient of x squared. And then your b, since you don't have x, it means the coefficient of x is 0. And then your c, in this case, we have a constant, that means the c is negative 4. So again, we're just going to take all this information, substitute it into a quadratic equation, and then we will get our factors. Our factors will be that x is actually equal to 2 or x equals to negative 2. You get the two answers by either using a positive and a negative, like that. Did I say either? Hey, English, keep butchering this language, but it's fine. Firstly, use the positive, and then secondly, use the negative. It's actually not fine to go to school for so long and still butcher the language. But yeah, that's a story for another day. Let's continue. Suppose x equals to 2 and x equals to negative 2, like that. That will mean the factors will be x, you can say plus 2, whichever one you start with. In this case, it's really based on feelings. You can just get away with it. Okay, that will therefore mean for this product to be equal to 0, that is that the situation is that x plus 2 equals to 0, or x minus 2 equals to 0. As a result, x equals to 2 or x is equals to negative 2. Okay, these are your two answers for this problem, and you can test them both and see if they are valid for this question. Just substitute negative 2 squared here, and then see if you get 4, and substitute positive 2 squared and see if you get 4. Of course, you're going to get 4 in this case. Therefore, all the solutions are valid. Okay, I think to make this video short, we'll just keep it or keep it here, and then we'll look at the other ways of solving for x in the next video. See you. Subscribe and then comment whatever you feel to comment, and then you can also like the video. That's not a bad idea, and share with other kids. Then